Something that bad quarterbacks do is overstride. Good quarterbacks take a 6-inch short stride. Now, the reason you want to take a short stride as a quarterback is twofold. Number one, your release is going to be faster, right? Anytime that you guys are throwing, and quarterbacks tend to take this longer stride, you physically cannot throw from an on-platform position. I'm not talking on the run or while you're moving around in the pocket, but from an on-platform position, you cannot throw until your front foot gets down. So the longer the process is of this stride, the longer your motion is going to be. So a slow motion is going to cause you to get hit right in the mouth because you obviously got defensive linemen trying to get you and try to make a sack. And it's going to cause a throwing window that's open to be closed because your release is taking too long. Now, the other reason you want a short stride is because it allows your hips to rotate. Think about it as a quarterback. We obviously want to rotate with my hips because that's where my power source is. We want to be able to stride and rotate and have my hips rotate before my shoulders and the ball to have us have more power, because that concept right there is called torque. Now, if you guys take this long stride and your feet are outside your frame, you can't rotate. So that's why a lot of quarterbacks tend to lean, pull their front elbow, have this overly high release, or dip their head, which can affect accuracy and also power. So we need that short stride so my motion can be fast, and that allows my hips to rotate through, which will increase the amount of velocity I have on my throws. Now, fellas, before we get into the rest of this video, if you're a quarterback or wide receiver watching this and you would like to train with myself and my staff of coaches, we are going to be coming out to 15 different states across the entire country this year, you guys, for 2-day long QB and wide receiver training camps. So if you guys would like to sign up to work with us, go to that very first link in the description below. Our camps are a little bit different than all these other camps. They're not like college camps. They're not like these big exposure camps where the goal, get as many people as you can there and try to run through drills as fast as we can. We slow things down. We take the time to work with each athlete individually. If you screw up, we're going to tell you what you did wrong, how to fix it, and on the next rep, we're going to look to see if you improved. And that's the whole basis of what we do at our camps. So guys, we limit spots for that reason. So all of these camps will sell out, and they will sell out probably within the next 2 to 3 months. Our first 3 camps only have about 6 to 10 spots left remaining. So guys, if you go to that very first link in the description below, that's where you can sign up. Our next camp is going to be in San Francisco, California, Orlando, Florida. Then we'll be coming out to Phoenix, Arizona. After that, we'll be heading out to Seattle, Washington, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, Nashville, Tennessee, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Austin, Texas, Atlanta, Georgia, Denver, Colorado, Columbus, Ohio, Boston, Massachusetts, Salt Lake City, Utah, and finishing it off in Los Angeles, California. So guys, want to sign up, want some info, again, very first link in that description below. Let's get back to this video. Now, something bad quarterbacks do is lift the ball directly to 90 degrees. Now, something good quarterbacks do is get to an opposite equal backstroke position. Now, why it's important to be able to get to an opposite equal position with your backstroke is it will allow you to get to something called extension much faster, which helps us with spin rate on the ball. So if you're a QB who can throw a spiral, but it's kind of a weak spiral, it spins, but it doesn't spin a lot. That generally is because you're not getting to extension fast enough, and this can also help us with accuracy, because extension is where accuracy comes from. So let's talk about it, right? So a lot of old school coaches used to teach like, oh, go straight to 90 and then rotate through. Now, the issue with that happens with a lot of quarterbacks is that when they lift to 90 degrees when their front foot gets down, the next part of your throw is that your hips have to rotate. But when you're already at 90 when the foot gets down and you start to rotate, sometimes the ball can get really close to your head and you have this like kind of like over the top coming down motion, and it takes you a while to get to extension in front of your face. Now, if you get to a backstroke position, it doesn't need to be a perfect L. A lot of quarterback coaches teach like you got to get to a 90-degree L. It could be anywhere in this general vicinity. Some guys are maybe a little bit lower. I don't like it way down here, obviously. Some guys aren't at a perfect L. Maybe the nose is down a little bit. They're a little bit above. But when your front foot gets down and you go to rotate, it keeps your arm away from yourself and you could get to extension a little bit faster. Your arm slot is a little bit lower. When you look at all the top 32 NFL passers, their arm slot is about here. None of them throw with this really high over the top arm slot. There's a longer process to extension. But when you're here and you just rotate, you could extend, and that's a faster whip, if you will, with your arm, which is what increases the spin rate. And the extension is how we're accurate. If your wrist, elbow, shoulder are extended where you want the ball to go, you're going to be a lot more accurate if your other mechanics are clean. Like, for example, what we talked about in the beginning with the long stride. So guys, try to get to some type of backstroke. It doesn't need to be perfect. Everybody has a little bit different of a motion, but it will get you to that extension point much quicker. Now, another thing bad quarterbacks do is push off of their back foot. Now, good quarterbacks stay back and rotate with their hips. Now, there are two reasons why you don't want to push off of your back foot to create the front stride of your throw, and you want to stay back and then rotate with your hips. First reason is it puts an immense amount of pressure on your arm. Second reason is you do not get to a position called dissociation, which helps us with power on the throw and being able to get something called torque, which helps us throw with more velocity and more distance. So let's talk about how it puts pressure on your arm. So to get pressure off of your arm when you throw, you have to rotate with your hips. But it's not about just rotating with your hips, it's the timing in which your hips rotate in your throwing sequence. So as a quarterback, in your base, you want to have a majority of your weight on your back leg, anywhere from 65 to 70%. Now, when you take a stride with your front foot, you want to try to keep that weight back. Your weight should stay behind the stride. The stride should be a light step. Now, when you do that, you want your shoulders to be able to rotate back and go back with the ball. If your weight stays back, it allows you to rotate your shoulders back and dissociate. Dissociation helps with power, but again, takes pressure off the arm. So when you do this and you push forward, all of your weight goes to your front foot. So now I can't rotate my shoulders back, and my back foot, knee, and hip are kind of left behind. So when my back, knee, and hip are left behind, when my arm decides to go through at the release point, my elbow and shoulder are ahead of my hip. That's where the pressure goes on your arm. I get a ton of quarterbacks that ask me about, Coach, how do I fix arm pain? That's generally how. Now, if you were to stay back and your shoulders rotate back, guess what? Now your foot's under you, your weight stays here, and when it's time to rotate, your hip is here, and the elbow, the ball, your shoulder are chasing your hip. That's what takes pressure off your arm, and that right there is how I produce torque. It's that whipping effect. It's exactly like a baseball swing. If I'm in the batter's box, I step to the pitcher, but I keep the bat back here and my weight back here, so I rotate, the bat trails behind, and that right there is torque. So you want to do the same exact thing when you're throwing a football. You don't want to push forward. That's a very old school method, and it's linear rather than being rotational as a QB.